bitch niggas better aim your boy elevate. I need 6-figure money, won't have fucks and hella cake. Fuck boy, I been on dummy, shooting hella ops in they dummy day. If not him, then kill his mama, make him feel his rap in the hell away. Just go shot the hell out, make him his chest, watch where they swim away. I don't stop shooting till you die, they go like death and then I spit away. This a hollow, took it away. This a hollow.
This video, I will be discussing some of the conditioning and programming that went into the millennial generation. Now, when I mean millennial, I mean the general understanding of what that age group is. And essentially, it's people born within the early 80s to the mid 90s. Now, there is some debate as to the exact date, but let's just keep it at that. So, what is it about us millennials that brings out the worst in so many other generations when discussing us? Well, let's go back a bit. Let's kind of look at how we have been programmed, how we have been conditioned.
Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak like me? I got so brave drinking.
That's dead, gang. That's real dead, for that matter. At the end of the day, yeah, the copyright strike will be bogus. But I will play it past this. You know, I'm gonna let it play, right?
This hall owned by the Knights of Columbus. Now, these dances were from grade 4 to 6, and we were basically at this bar simulation. It's the best way I could describe it. It was a bar simulation. We would all go in there as young as 9, 10. There was a bar, but it served Coca-Cola and soft drinks. And in the front of the hall, there was a little dance club where they were playing rap music about smoking crack and grinding on each other. Little John was a popular song at the time. And we were these kids.
Now, I gotta say that he said smoking crack, gang. If y'all heard him like I heard him, he said they was smoking crack, they was drinking Coca-Cola now, and grinding on each other. Those are adult activities. You understand? Those are all activities that back in the days when we was going to parties in the teenage days that was taking place, gang. Hey, y'all know that, gang. Those of y'all that's from the hood, y'all know damn well shit. When motherfuckers was going to parties back in them days, A lot of that shit was taking place. I'm talking about they grinding on each other. You got the motherfuckers twerking on the wall. They doing wall dances and shit like that. All kind of shit was going on, guys. Let's keep going though. You know, I think he's going somewhere. And this what I think, like I said, this is just one video, you know, one example that I might show or run across. I might find some more for us. But you know, this is what they side saying. No disrespect to the Caucasian people. This is what some of the Caucasian people think. You feel me? Is how this generation was brainwashed. But we're gonna keep going.
By society, our parents, our culture, and to engaging in a bar-like scenario at the age of 9. Now, I grew up in a small town in North America, small city, I guess. But I've talked to other people, and this was like a common occurrence. And I'm not talking about some like innocent Mickey Mouse type dance. I don't have a problem with that. But I think grade 6 is still a bit too young for that. But anyway, it wasn't like that. It wasn't some Mickey Mouse Club thing. It was hardcore rap being played to our young impressionable minds, telling us to be degenerate scum.
And that's the message that we deliver to little kids.
How were we supposed to know any better when we were literally 9 years old? So, just to give you a little glimpse into how we were brought up, as you say. Now, what led to that? To little kids being thrown into a bar simulation? How did we get to that point? Well, there's this generation that gave birth to the millennials, and they're called, well, Gen X did have kids early enough to have millennials, but for the most part, millennials are a product of baby boomers. Now, baby boomers too, if we go back, had their whole other set of conditioning and rapid changes in attitudes and themes in comparison to their parents. But essentially, we were raised by baby boomers, and the baby boomer ethos was implanted into us from a very, very young age. There's another term for millennial called echo boomer. And there's also that meme, the 30-year-old boomer, because a lot of millennials are spiritual boomers, right? So this goes back to the baby boomer. And I'm not going to just be a boomer hater because the boomers had a huge experiment, deconstruction of their identity conditioned onto them. But essentially, this was sanctioned onto us by the boomers. So we were at these dances, and they were hosted by the Knights of Columbus. And I was kind of looking into who the Knights of Columbus are, because the dance hall was...
You know, I never knew who the Knights of Columbus was. I never heard of it. And I see StreamYard trying to skip game. I see us trying to do that little shit where it go in and out. It was doing this the other day, gang. StreamYard, you are a bitch. Understand that. But at the end of the day, I don't know who they are. I never heard of them. You feel me? I like to know. I ain't gonna lie to you. I definitely would like to know because... Hold on, y'all. I like to know because at the end of the day, a lot of this information that's been coming out, that's been leaked, or you feel me, that's been shown to us throughout years and time to come. It's been interesting that, you feel me, they never really want to talk about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't want to talk about it. The government didn't want half of the shit out here. A lot of these groups and private groups and occult groups, they wasn't supposed to be ever mentioned. So, you know, it makes me wonder, because like I said, there's different stories from all over that we're going to hear. And I think all these stories usually got to come from somewhere, gang. You feel me? Every story that we hear about, I'm talking about from all the rumors, stories, from all the conspiracy theory stories, quote unquote. Because now we starting to learn that all these conspiracy theories ain't really conspiracies at all. You understand what I'm saying? We really starting to learn that, gang. We starting to figure out, like, yo, these conspiracies that we once thought was conspiracies is not no goddamn conspiracies. They are actual factual facts. You feel me? That some people don't want us to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Which is the truth, and that's what's crazy about all this shit. It's crazy because a lot of motherfuckers figure like, hey, yo, they not gonna speak about this. They'll never know about it. You feel me? We gonna make sure that don't nobody tell them about it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I appreciate the fact that all this is coming out. I love it. Anyway, let's keep going, man. We finna move on and let him finish talking about what he's talking about. Because I think he gonna get deep. I hope he do. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
At the nighttime, because we would go there at night. But actually, it's a fraternal Catholic order. Similar to the Masons in a lot of ways, but it's Catholic. And if you know anything about Masonry and Catholicism, they're not really meshed together. But this Catholic organization, now the mainstream paints it as like these people who are against abortion and contraception, and they're like hyper conservative, but these dances were being hosted at one of their facilities that was letting 9-year-olds listen to Little John and rap and grinding on each other, and it was just oh, I just cringe thinking about how our parents let that happen. But yeah, so that's the starting point. Okay, that's the starting point. That's where we're starting. Now, Zoomers, I'm not aware that this is a phenomenon within the Zoomer generation. It doesn't seem like I've never heard of this happening with the Zoomers and younger people. It's just that era is solely a millennial thing. I don't think boomers had 9-year-olds going to bar simulations. Yeah. So that
Hey, yo, and notice how he call it a simulation. You know what I'm saying? He don't stiff on the fact that he called it a simulation at all. You understand what I'm saying? And due to the fact he called it a simulation, and let you know a lot about a lot of things. Now, if you a studier, if you one of the ones who do your studying, you do your research, gang, you know exactly where I'm pointing at. You know exactly where I'm getting to. Due to the fact it's a lot of people that be scared of this type of information out there, gang. They ain't trying to know where a nigga getting to. They ain't trying to understand it. But listen, overstand it. You ain't got to understand it. Overstand that the whole simple fact is this, that a lot of our parents who didn't want us or who allowed it to happen, they was coached into allowing it to happen because their parents was so okay with it. Their parents were so okay with a lot of things taking place in the household. You understand what I'm saying? And at that point in life, that's where everybody was mentally tricked. You feel me? Now, if people calling that the brainwashing point, then yeah, so be it. It could be. We could call it the brainwashing. Right? I say we could. But you know, it's a lot more that got to do with that, though. It goes a lot deeper down that rabbit hole. But we're gonna keep going. Let's
That was our prepubescent minds being poisoned essentially by this almost like a mass MK Ultra type experiment.
Replit just released their new Agent 4, and I seriously think this is about to completely change how you vibe code.
For those of y'all that know about MK Ultra, gang, it's an experiment to control people's minds, to put thoughts in people's heads, to basically be the lead point of what people do and think. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I know that's hard to explain. For a lot of y'all probably like, what the fuck do we mean? Well, I can tell you exactly what I mean. They got a lot of programs, the military and the government, they pay for a lot of programs to take place that people don't know about. You feel me? And these programs that take place and that y'all don't know about, some of y'all think it's fake. Some of y'all, you feel me, think it's some bullshit. But at the end of the day, it's too many whistleblowers. It's too many Army veterans, high-ranking Army workers that done became whistleblowers, quit the jobs. You feel me? That done talked about this stuff. But now you got scientists from both sides of the world, from America and from China, missing. You feel me? And some Chinese scientists that came up missing and dead behind all of this shit. The MK Ultra program, the Blue Beam Project, Blue Beam. You feel me? All this shit, gang. So, and like I said, allegedly, I can't just point to it like, hey, it's factual, the actual factual. You know, my brother, he was telling me some shit like that. Like, gang, when you pop on your podcast, you feel me? Don't just right away assume something or right away tell people it's facts, because you got some people out there that'll believe it. But, you know, so I'm gonna leave it at that. At the end of the day, though, if you want to do your research, go ahead, do your research, man. It's really popping. These whistleblowers are really coming out, and the whistleblowers are nothing but governmental workers, people that worked in the government. You understand what I'm saying? And they know what they know. They got knowledge. So let's keep going, though.
Sweat, baby, sex is a Texas drought. Me and you do the kind of stuff that only
We were given these.
Yeah.
What
I'm gonna have to mute it a couple times because I see he give me a copyright strike. Shout out to him, but at the end of the day, I don't want no motherfucking copyright strike behind this music, gang. Like, I can't get one of those behind the music. But I want to see what he on, because that was a different song. But in that song, I want to show y'all something. They kidnapped 3 women. Y'all seen they hit them with those little poison darts to knock them out. You feel me? He hit them with the poison darts in the video. And I'm gonna tell y'all something. A lot of movies and videos and cartoons, they show y'all a lot of this stuff in there. A lot of movies, videos, and cartoons, they have a lot of this shit inside of it. They show y'all the secrets. They show y'all the tools. They show y'all the way they manipulate people. They show y'all how they get people, how they trick people, you feel me, into doing the things they want them to do, believing in the things they want them to believe. They show y'all the paths they take, gang. I ain't gonna lie to you. So let's keep going, though.
Entities. And there's several of them that are key in the millennial era, but we'll be discussing more of that in a bit. So we've already established that millennials were engaging in bar simulations at the age of 9, 10, 11. Let's look at some of the other popular media that was being consumed. There was this genre of movies that was very, very particular, basically deemed as these coming of age rom-coms. And basically the crux of these movies was trying to get the mission of your transition into manhood, essentially, because most of them were from a male perspective, was to lose your virginity in some manner.
Look at this nice campus. Reminds me of all those great college traditions, like homecoming.
We've got chicks for sale.
Getting wasted. Experimenting.
Touch my chest.
Meeting new people.
Now touch her.
Making homemade sex tapes in your dorm room.
That was the goal. And I remember at a very young age.
Hey, he ain't lying. That was the goal they was trying to push. That was the goal. You know, that was. I don't know if I had that muted. I hope I did. Let me see, so it didn't play double time. I believe I did. At the end of the day, he ain't lying. That was the goal. That was the narrative they tried to push to us. You feel me? It was always there. It was always like, hey, yo. I remember that, like, when I was 9, gang, like, you know, American Pie 1, American Pie 2, and this, that of sort, gang. They was always trying to push the sex on the young kids. They was always trying to push that narrative, or the getting high narrative. You know what I'm saying? Always, like the How High movie. Now, don't get it twisted. These movies was great movies. They was great movies, great actors, great creators, great directors, all the above. You feel me? I gotta give them their flowers. But the story behind it, the narrative, you know what I'm saying? The narration, the notion behind these movies and films were only to stir the minds and narrate the minds of young people. people who couldn't narrate their own minds, people who didn't know the truth that we control everything we think and believe and see. You feel me? I sit and I tell so many people right now today, look, you control your reality, gang. You control the reality you live in. You do. You control the reality you live in with what you think. The things you think and the things you believe, it control everything around you. And if you don't believe that, you will forever be lost in cycles. And cycles that you will be forever, you feel me, returning to earth to complete until you get it correct. You understand what I'm saying? Now, that sounds too far-fetched for you. I don't know what to tell you. A lot of y'all, though, you know, you think this shit is a joke when a nigga say this, but listen, gang, a lot of shit they got out here playing for us is only for us to stay stuck in cycles. Pay attention to what this white boy saying. No disrespect to the white people out there.
14, 15, 16, that people were being shamed on a massive scale from not engaging in this type of lifestyle. And I'm not coming at this from a Christian perspective saying that this is the Antichrist system or anything like that. I'm just coming at this from my own personal perspective and just trying to explain to the other generations why we are so messed up. Okay? So, yeah. Bar simulations at 9, 10. And then we had these rom-coms from Hollywood basically telling us that we have to, in order to be a man, we have to have sex with a lot of women from a male perspective. Now, there's a whole other female programming as well that we'll get into, but the preset identities that were being pushed on millennials by the mainstream would be one of the main ones would be the frat boy who will chug beers and do keg stands and partake in that whole scene. You know, his goal is to get drunk. His goal is to get laid. He's not focusing on his body. He's not focusing on his mind. He's not focusing on his spirit. It's just pure hedonism at a very, very young age.
Hey, yo, before we continue, y'all notice he said the young boy who don't focus on his mind, his body, his spirit. The whole point is for the young boy to get laid, sleep with many women as he can. You understand what I'm saying? That's the goal. That's what they wanted us to be on. That's the focus. Look, now I'm gonna tell y'all something. Black people, right now, black people, my culture, motherfuckers who look like me, my nigga, that's all they own. You understand what I'm saying? That's all they own, gang. That's the only thing they want to be on. If you look around you, black niggas is only trying to stamp their way in people's pants. You feel me? And now it's getting so bad, whether you're a male or female, they're trying to make sure they stamp their way in your motherfucking jeans. That's bad. Well, look at this image right here. Look at this. Now they got the two girls sitting around this young boy. This young boy couldn't be no bigger than 10, 11 years old. Now they got him feeling like he doing something real big. You feel me? Now after this, the next thing he gonna want to do is be with two more girls that's over age of him, which is considerably rape. If you take these girls to jail, you feel me? That's rape. Simple as that. Like that's what they're charged him with. Now, who made this okay? To me, the movie makers. The movie makers, the ones who put this in the movie, they make this all right. They make this cool to do. They make this like, yo, this the next lifestyle. I remember when I was coming up, gang, that was the thing. That was the thing. The whole thing was to, nigga, you ain't had no pussy yet. Nigga, you ain't fucking, you ain't out there, you still a virgin. But now everybody talks to you about being a virgin and they make you think, you know, since you ain't getting no sex, that's not cool. You ain't cool. You ain't part of the crowd. I know that's what it was when I was, you know, coming up as a shorty. When I was coming up as a shorty, that was the whole thing. The whole thing was to whoever ain't out there getting no play, you feel me? If you ain't got no girls on you, you ain't cool. You ain't the man. And nowadays, look, that stereotypical notion still carry on in the black community. In the black community, man, black men still run around sticking their dick in everything, every girl around the world. And like I said, now it got so bad it's with males now. These niggas sticking their dick in every other man and woman around the world that it don't make no sense, right? Like, look at the artists. These the main ones. These ones is the ones who fake it out. They gotta fake it till they make it. They gotta fake it till they make it. So they keep a lot of females around them, making y'all think, oh yeah, they with the bitches. They doing this. They partying. They got the hoes on them. No, that ain't the truth. That ain't the truth. They trick more than they. Come on now. Let's go.
You, just you, building your app on base 44.
Now I'm going to get a bit personal here, but when we were around 14, 15, drug use was off the freaking charts. And I'm not talking about pot. Okay, like I can remember.
Y'all heard him? He said drug use was like fucking normal. And he ain't talking about marijuana. He ain't talking about weed. He ain't talking about weed. Back then, gang, I bet he gonna say PCP, crack, cocaine. You feel me? Back then, they was snorting some of the rawest cocaine, gang. You understand what I'm saying? They was snorting some of the rawest cocaine. I'm talking about like scary. I'm gonna let him finish it though.
Mushrooms, doing mushrooms at 14, dropping acid at 15. Luckily, I never did anything, any stimulants, but lots of kids were doing ecstasy at the time. 15 years old, just hopping ecstasy like it was no tomorrow. And I've seen people's minds literally melt from that stuff. And I'm not joking, like their identity had broken down and they were among the age of 16 from doing all that ecstasy. Oxycontin also became.
I know he ain't lying. Hold on, okay, there you go. I know he ain't lying, man. Like in my days, gang, it was some niggas out there like young cats doing ecstasy. You feel me? I used to be part of the crowd, man. I used to be part of the crowd, but I never got mesh minded. You understand what I'm saying? I never was one of the ones to get like slip away from my identity. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm glad for my mindset right now today. And I be telling people around me that, like, gang, you gotta be one who can identify with your identity. Your main goal in life is to know who you are right away, right? To know who you is. Once you recognize who you is, then shall you never be able to forget your identity. The only way for you to forget who you are is when you got people around you, or if you got the type of friends or family around you that doubt you or down you, or you feel me, talk about who you are as if you are not who you are. That's the only way for you to forget who you are. Right? I say that because I say this, look, if you by yourself every day, I don't think you can make yourself forget who you are. You know what I'm saying? I believe a person by themselves is going to walk in their light. They're going to walk in their truth until they are around some people that where they got to shelter their truth, or they got to lock their truth up, cage their truth up, cage them true selves up. That's what I believe. But I think every day, on the hour, you shall know who you are, even if you are alone. You feel me? If you're a lone warrior, you definitely don't know who you are. Because you ain't got nobody to follow. You ain't following nobody. You ain't doing nothing nobody else doing. And, you know, I learned that the hard way. I learned that by isolating myself, you know, even to the point, if I got to isolate myself to where I ain't vibing with nobody, I ain't kicking it with nobody. I mean, even at that point, it's still good. Let me tell you why. Because you got time to figure out who you are. You got all that time to figure out who you are. And when you don't know who you are, you find yourself following people. You find yourself chasing people. You find yourself trying to figure out who you are. You feel me? And at that point in life, gang, shall you forever be lost, because everybody gonna make you feel like you are somebody different. Everybody gonna make you feel like you should be somebody like this or that. Everybody gonna expect you to be like they want you to be, and you will never have the chance to be who you want to be. And that's gonna be one scary side. So let's keep going. I'm gonna keep on to let him finish up though.
And this was luckily before fentanyl, but Oxycontin was prevalent at the time. Lots of kids were doing that. So that's the we looked at the pre-middle school, right? Entering middle school age, bar simulations. In middle school, lots of kids were smoking pot, watching these rom-coms, you know, there was also there's the frat boy. What kind of ties into that too is that whole Darwin Award type behavior where at the time Jackass was really popular. So like just acting like a complete moron was the goal.
God damn, this is the BMX tug of war.
And the more moronic you were, the cooler you were in this type of mainstream conditioning we underwent.
Hey, those Jackass times and moments was the shit, gang. I cannot lie to y'all, right? I can't. My son was just asking me something about Jackass the other day. Like, Dad, you ever heard of Jackass? Yeah, I heard of Jackass, nigga. I had the DVDs. I had multiple DVDs from Jackass, nigga, when they was at Blockbuster, when Blockbuster was still popping. You understand what I'm saying? Those of y'all that know, nigga, Blockbuster was pop. That's when you get all the fucking movies. VHS was popping and shit like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? There was so much going on, gang. Like, back when I was a young shorty, gang, it was a lot of more freedom than it is. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot of more freedom, a lot of more understanding from people around you. People was more friendlier. People weren't just reacting so much. Nowadays, people react too fucking much, and they too sensitive if you ask me. I don't mean sensitive in a way that, you know, like a psychedelic sensitive, like a psychic type of sensitive. I mean sensitive, and when somebody tell them the truth or somebody tell them something that they can better themselves, they offend easy. I never understood. Fuck man, shit wrong. You back, you know what I'm saying? That shit, wow. Man, you can be mad about nothing. You can do that shit. And on top of that, gang, another thing I noticed too, like nowadays, they so quick to give up on themselves. You know, that's the truth. They quick to give up on themselves, man. And that damn. Anyway, let's keep going, man.
Yeah, and so there was the frat boy, Jackass archetype, and then another one would have been the stoner archetype.
Okay, I thought about it, and I'm going to the disco.
Now this is being pushed on us like from movies like Dude, Where's My Car? Movies like Road Trip, basically glorifying being a stone bag. And
no matter your role, team, or design skill,
you know, shaming people who did not partake in this culture. I can remember
High was a movie I just named. Look, y'all, it's right there. You feel me? You know they had to throw a black movie in there. It's right there. And then when you start noticing shit like that, yeah, that's when you know you on what you on. You feel me? Motherfuckers will notice when you peeping the game. This should be easy to spot, right? A lot of people don't want to admit it though. Like I said, in this world we live in right now today in 2026, a lot of admittance is not on the board. You know what I'm saying? Y'all even see that because they don't even want to disclose the aliens or the UAPs or UFOs. You feel me? They don't want to disclose nothing. So a lot of admittance, accountability is not on the board. Accountability is not right there in the open hand because these motherfuckers like, fuck all that. We might as well keep everything secret. Nah, bitch. One day somebody gonna find out. You feel me? Definitely, because look, y'all keeping it going. You keep shit going like that, gang. Yeah, somebody gonna find out. Fuck you talking about? This something that is so big, it's gonna get found out, my nigga. Like, come on, make it make sense. Like,
most of us were smoking pot regularly, getting drunk regularly, and doing all the things that those media outlets were programming us to do. And I don't think I was an extreme case at all. I think I was pretty regular for the time. I think it was just so common and accepted and promoted and seen as the thing, the epitome of life, that was just what happened to us as millennials. Another one of the millennial preset identities was what I'm just going to call the wankster archetype. And these were middle class, working class, white suburban kids who, because of media programming, and we're going into as to why this was media programming. Basically,
y'all see how them white boys look? Did y'all see how the white boys look? They sagging and shit. Did y'all see that? They look, whose style is they taking? They taking our style. This is what I tell my kids right now today. All that sagging shit, that shit is fruity. That sagging shit is fruity, guys. That's for zesty men. That's for the men who want to see asses, right? So now these young kids get it twisted. And I remember this, they had a guy from prison named Booty Warrior. His name was the Booty Warrior. And what he did, he took butt for a living. That's all he did. He loved to take that butt. He said, if you was a skinny man, he definitely taking your butt. You understand what I'm saying? I mean, yeah, scream, holler all you want to, but he gonna get to that butt. And when he get to that butt, he said, however you gotta get that butt, he gonna knock you out, or you gonna give up that butt. However you gonna get to that butt, he gonna get that butt. And that's what he did. That shit was crazy. It was fucking mad scary. End of the day, you know, one thing I recognized, I said, look, because I remember back in the days, I used to sag like them punk ass niggas. And then I stopped that shit. I had to start wearing belts. I'm like, damn, real man wear belts. If you look around, you see the white man who work and make all the money, who buying all the big houses and fancy cars, they wearing belts and shit, man. They got on belts to hold up their briefs. They ain't sagging to show their ass. That ain't the game they playing. And at the end of the day, I don't know why black men love to play that game. We got to the point that these black guys done got to the so cool with being zesty. They want to be zesty. These black guys want to show you they ass. They want to show you their hindsight. So yeah, they gonna sag all the time. I said, listen, I ain't doing none of that. I ain't rocking out like that. I ain't rocking out like none of you niggas. And that's what he talking about. It was the culture. Y'all see the white boys, dog showing his whole look, the private area. Like, come on, gang. They got that from black niggas who let her do that shit. Let's keep going though. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna dive in and let him finish what he's saying, gang.
The gang subculture from America, for the most part, American gang culture. And these people, these kids.
He said American gang culture. Y'all heard him. You know what I'm saying? The gang culture. And the only motherfuckers who want to be part of the gang is the black motherfuckers who so-called made up the gang. Now you got the white boys wanting to join the gang. They want to think they doing something. How that work? Y'all make this shit make sense.
Because they lacked their own identity or were not given one by their baby boomer parents, saw what was on the TV and embraced those identities that were being projected at them. Now we're going to get more into the TV too. So another unique aspect of millennial is that our media was, I think, the most damaging era of all media. And here's why. So we were right before mass adoption of internet media. So maybe some millennials as teenagers we're starting to go maybe on YouTube here and there, and we're adopting more of a digital lifestyle. But as we were coming up, and especially in our early teens, mid-teens, it was television for the most part. And the television at that time was essentially broadcasting the same type of messages that Hollywood was at the time, and promoting those and glorifying this type of lifestyle.
This sock brand turned on one new channel and it became their most efficient acquisition tool.
The performance literally.
MTV.
As y'all can see, y'all see what they depict? That's what they depict. They depict a solo living lifestyle. They depict a bachelor partying lifestyle. And that's what they show nowadays. Nowadays, they even go so far to show, of course, the interracial couples. Of course, they even push the agenda about women not needing men and, you know, women being single, all up until the point women start dating other lesbian women. You know, no disrespect, but these are the things they brainwash the people with. Now I can understand why brainwash, you know, would be the title of this video, and I think that's why I named it that, actually. But you know, these are the brainwashing typical basics, foundations of how they start. Usually they put these type of shows on there. Hey, look, and now it got so bad to where now they got the ads going on to where whatever you watch, the goddamn AI know what you watch now. It's so used to it that it start feeding you ads of this shit. So if you watching some zesty shit, you feel me, some fruity shit, yeah, I'm talking about. So what he's saying ain't far-fetched. He know what he's talking about. Let's keep going though.
Stoner, wankster identities that were being pushed onto us and adopted on us. There was also like the alt identities that were basically two subcategories, kind of like a proto hipster and the emo. And these were just also preset identities being pushed on us from the mainstream. So a lot of these shows that were shown, like one of them that comes to mind is the Man Show.
Put your job in line of one, get your favorite private part. It's the Man Show. It's a place where they can come together. Look at the hands on this chicken heather. Girls on trampolines, time to lose those blue jeans. It's the Man Show.
And I remember watching this very young and basically projecting masculinity onto us and showing that masculinity is being a drunk, being a goofball.
Basically, as they direct masculinity onto us, they also showing us what type of masculinity they want us to, you feel me, present. They showing us what type of masculinity they want us to, you know, project out to the world. Which would be the one that they project onto us, which will be grab a beer, loosen your pants, watch the ladies with the big titties, look at all the women you can, tell your wife and kids, hey, y'all can go to a movie, here go the money. You feel me? And then we'll also be a cheater. You ain't being loyal to the family. That's basically what it was promoting at the end of the day. So, you know, a lot of this shit out here, it only promote being negative. It only promote being bad. It only promote being fucked up mentally. It only promote being you know, so abusive to yourself and your choices and your decisions of oneself that one can make, to the factor or to the point that you can be judged, and judged up to the point that you can feel some type of way about being judged. You understand what I'm saying? So we got to pay attention.
And trying to chase these certain types of women who I will get into because they were programmed as well. But yeah, obviously I'm coming at this from a male perspective.
Listen, he's saying they was programmed as well. You see, they was programmed as well. And I like the way he said that, because this a white boy, he ain't shying away from the truth. He's keeping it real as hell. And he telling, see, he don't want to go down the rabbit hole super deep, like, yo, look, the black people, they really programming. Of course, we all know that. But at the end of the day, if you pay attention to what he's saying, everybody around the world is being programmed, gang. Let me let him finish.
My own experience, but there was this dude bro get drunk lol type of mentality that was being blasted on us from the TV. And because we hadn't completely adopted alternative media at the time, we kind of had a bottleneck of media that we could not basically escape, unlike today where media is more decentralized, and I think that is a lot healthier, although it is becoming more centralized in a lot of ways. There at least is choice. We didn't have choice growing up. We just had what was given to us. And more so than the baby boomers, because this type of dude bro mentality wasn't exactly being pushed as hard at the time. They were heading that way, and there's definitely certain examples of that, but it wasn't like how millennials were being brainwashed essentially into this dude bro stoner.
Look, as y'all can see, brainwashed. That's why I had to title it brainwashed, because if the white boy can say motherfuckers brainwashed around here, I can say the same shit. I definitely can, and I don't need none one of you motherfuckers to tell me I can't, gang. If he can say it, then I can say it. And that's what that means. That means these TV shows and these motherfucking ads and these commercials was all meant to brainwash everybody around here into the stoner world, into this not giving a fuck world, until it's getting high to you dumb as fucking don't know how to operate or do anything world. That's what all this meant. Look at the shows. Look at the TV shows right now today. All this shit is meant to show the kids and everybody else how to be, you feel me, zesty, how to turn gay, how to not like your own kind, how to go against your own people, how not to be teammates, how not to be able to work together, all the above. Listen, that's why I'm following none of the narratives. I don't follow nobody that around me that got them same narratives. I don't follow nobody around me that got that same belief. I don't follow nobody around me who can't even give me much better than like what he's saying. This nigga just gave me all the information I need to know. Everything around us is staged and is meant to happen and is meant to make everybody feel this way. It's meant to make us dumb, brainwashed, and go against each other and lose everything, lose our mind to the fact we start looking crazy. If y'all look around now today, everybody around you is doing some goofy shit. They're doing some heinous crimes, or everybody around you can't think for themselves. Hey, let me let him finish because I got a couple more minutes. You feel me? This little hour don't ran fast, and I love every bit of it. You feel me? Hey, everybody out there, make sure you hit that like button and that share button, but we're going to keep going. Let's let him
type preset identities. So that's a bit more of how
identities. Preset identities. I like the way he said that. They're not allowing nobody to think for themselves. They're setting your identity. They're setting your identity for you. They're thinking for you. And you feel me? If he noticed, why don't everybody else wake up and notice? You know what's funny? My culture never wake up and notice. Black people are so far lost into the sauce. Black people are so far lost into the sauce. And we the ones who made that word up. Being lost in the sauce. Well, we the motherfuckers who lost in the sauce gang. That's what's crazy. That's what. It's sad. It's sad, gang. Fuck what y'all talking about. It's sad because don't nobody out there talk about it. The people from my culture are so fake as hell. They don't want to talk about nothing. All they want to talk about is what they did and did. Man, shut the fuck up. What can you do? Is you talking about how far you can go forward, or is you talking about what the fuck you did in the past that don't fucking matter no more? You understand what I'm saying? Like,
I hope this is, you're starting to get a bit of an idea here of what it was like, all you Zoomers and boomers out there. So the millennials who did have access to the digital world, the early adopters, the desktop millennials, we were on Web 1.0. Now, Web 1.0 was kind of a scary place in a lot of ways. These websites had some very disturbing content on them. A lot of us were exposed to websites like gore.com. Sometimes if you were to click on some sort of file, it would be like a strange beheading compilation video. Live Leak was pretty popular amongst millennials. Yeah, and YouTube had some crazy videos, people being mauled by bears and stuff. Ro Yogan type content where he was like watching Two Girls, One Cup and the BME Pain Olympics.
Oh my God. Oh.
And then we're like, oh, dude, like Joe Rogan's watching this. Let's go watch it. And we would watch it and we were like, holy F, like, what is this? I'm not even going to explain what that was, but it was basically just gore. So yeah, we had these role models, these great role models just telling us what life was about and, you know, that we should just be drunks essentially and party, bro.
The next generation of quality from Tacoma is here.
Man, look, fuck that golf thing. Well, I don't know what the fuck. I hate when they show shit like that. I don't care about that shit. None of the ads y'all showing.
Dude, weed, LMAO. And that was another thing, like weed, especially where I was just so prevalent and pushed on us. And basically marketed as this making more creative, more focused. It turns out that weed can severely mess up your REM sleep. And if you're not getting REM sleep, a lot of hormonal functions are going to suffer and you're probably going to like get low testosterone and all these negative effects. And people said that, you know, weed wasn't going to cause schizophrenia, but I've seen people in my own life develop kind of these paranoid delusions when they smoke way too much weed. So weed was heavily pushed on millennials as well. And because most of us had baby boomer parents, weed was usually in the household, so it was easily accessed to us. And that's kind of how a lot of us socialized, just through weed. Yeah, it's kind of funny explaining this all and just kind of just taking a step back and analyzing myself, because yeah, I would agree with the assessment that
what's funny to me, what's real funny to me is, you know, the fact he on to a lot, right? Everything he said, he got some shit to it. Yeah. He popping. But what's funny to me is the fact that it took a white boy to come out with this information. Now when our black people can never figure out what's wrong with nobody, right? The times we living in right now, how dumb they got the world right now, ain't nobody but these people, the white people, the Chinese people, some of the other cultures, will be able to figure out what's taking place right now. The black people, the motherfuckers my color, they don't know shit. When I say shit, I mean nothing. They don't even know themselves, gang, and that's scary. When you get a motherfucker who don't know themselves, gang, and you around them every day, sooner or later, you're going to stop knowing yourself. You're going to stop knowing what the fuck you are and who you represent and what you can do and what you can't do. That's why me personally, like I said earlier, I stay alone. I stay by myself. I let her isolate because at the end of the day, I always know who I am. I always end up resorting back to that one square. To where other people can't, to other people don't even remember this, to other people can't even common sensely acknowledge that, look, I know this much, I know that. I ain't even got to learn it, but I can tell just off the way things are going or the way things are shaping. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it make me so mad. At the end of the day, man, that's my time, gang. 55 minutes, goddamn it, that's an hour. I don't give a fuck. I'm 5 minutes off, but hey, fuck you and fuck the rest of the 5 minutes. At the end of the day, I love y'all, man. Y'all make sure y'all take care. Y'all keep y'all heads up, man. Stay smart. Everything you watch, make sure you are learning in these times and days, gang. It's 2026. Make sure you are putting your motherfucking mind to work. Make sure you filling that motherfucker up with knowledge, no matter what you're doing, gang. Look, I am out.
The gang, them grew up in pining. Couple of groupies to fit with. High, no turbulence, vibing. Higher than you niggas getting. Flying while you niggas flyless. Your kind is scooter dependent. I come something new when I'm driving. Driving off the roof, no ceilings. Got a skyline view when I'm riding.